communicate with you as well. The question is, we are saying, why are the women of Nigeria having to stand up against the food prices in Nigeria, whilst you men are here in South Africa? You Nigerians are in South Africa. The Biafrans are working for themselves. They're trying to build themselves up. But you useless guys or guys are here in South Africa selling powder, creating baby factories, sex trafficking, raping. Y'all are doing everything but doing what you should be doing for the woman that you leave behind, because you'll marry women everywhere in every single country in the world. You think that that's actually something that's admirable? Unmute yourself, HRM, and you can speak to Squash and Favor. Let them give you the answer.
You understand what she said?
What makes you think every Nigerian guy lives in South Africa? This is just the problem. What makes you think every Nigerian guy lives in South Africa? Like, clearly you guys just said that I live in South Africa. I put myself there that I'm Nigerian, not in South Africa. So you guys assume that every Nigerian guy lives in South Africa. Are you still in Nigeria? Of course I am. Proudly Nigerian.
You still in Nigeria? Me, I get a feeling you are in someone else's country again.
Nigeria is a wonderful place to be.
Most of you are in someone else's country.
Like, do you know the vibe? Do you know the vibe that comes with being a Nigerian? Oh, you wish, bro.
Guys, can I say something?
Tell us one. Tell us one of being in Nigeria. Tell us one.
That's every vibe that comes with being a Nigerian, like the flags, how they carry, like, bro, you guys can't relate. That's why you're so pained and bitter.
Is that why 60% of Nigerians having ulcer?
You can't.
That's why 60% of Nigeria have ulcer.
And 100% of South Africans suffer from HIV. So
you guys are having ulcer. You are not eating three times in a day. Then you develop ulcer. Yeah, is that the stress they are talking about?
If Nigeria,
if Nigeria you came in a very public platform. They ask you just one benefit of being in Nigeria. You are talking about flesh. Is that how dumb you are, bro?
When HRM, if Nigeria is so good, why is Biafra want to go out of Nigeria? Why is
South Africa is so good? Why would Orania depart from South Africa?
What is this?
You are talking.
What is this?
If South Africa is so good, why would Orania depart from the
South African government?
You make sure minus one.
They divided when? Hey, Mr. Mzansi, this stupid. They divided when? Tell us.
No,
because we all knew that they bought a land and they are staying there.
Me the most? You guys have problem in your country.
It's like you buying a house.
You talk about another country's problem. Like, hello, you have a very serious problem.
Your IQ is so low. Your IQ is so low. You guys should bring a better Nigeria to your platform.
I don't know who you be. I don't know who you be. Now you know they talk. I don't know who you be. If you want. I don't know who you
HRM, when did Orania depart from South Africa? Give us the date and the year that it happened.
So when did Biafra depart from Nigeria? You started it first, then I have to fire back.
You said Orania wants to depart from South Africa.
Orania is
give us that publication.
So why?
Give us that publication.
In South Africa.
Give us the publication that says that Orania is departing from South Africa. Tell us, where did you read that stupid information?
Hello, keyword departed. Keyword departed. Orania has already departed from South Africa. Orania is no longer part of South Africa. So why?
They did not depart.
Why would they?
Give you a very good advice. After you get that from this panel, just change your name to Dom. Because
before you start a platform,
you sound dumb. At least you guys, if you want to come defend Nigeria, at least this is disgraceful. Like you know, your IQ is so low. I can't even debate you. Most of them are hungry. They will come on your platform to vent their hungers on you guys because they are hungry. Yeah, so you should understand where they are coming from. It's part of hunger that is the cause. So
we know them, my brother. We know how they behave. Off the mat. You can come in off the mat.
Sister, well, I'm good. How are you? How are you to the panel? No, I understand. I thought maybe it's a more of a conversation. Maybe people people who don't see reality, and sometimes, you know, speaking to people who don't see reality, common sense, not common for everybody. So sometimes I thought the conversation, so I didn't understand if got people who see reality in the way it is. So since we've got gentlemen who see reality, who basically understand Nigeria more than I do, so there's no need for me to express myself. Because another thing, when you call yourself giant, I always say people should call you. You can't call yourself names. You can't go around telling you are the greatest. People should say you are the greatest. So people who put titles on themselves, already we've got identity crisis over there. And I understand some people's pride don't allow them to accept what is the situation. And that is why you'll grow in ways, but your situation gets worse and worse and worse. Coming here and fighting, but where you are right now, you know it's worse than the people you are fighting. You know the standard of South Africa and where you are is not the same. And it's not to shame you or what, but just to give you a wake-up call. And if humility is something far from you, there's nothing we can do. So I understand. I thought maybe, you know, there's somebody who needed to be humbled, but I can see when somebody doesn't have that in their common sense, we just have to accept, you know. And
we have when you come across Biafran guys, my brother, you must know that common sense prevails. With these gentlemen, common sense prevails. You don't even have to look for it, and you can even hear the way they speak, the way they articulate themselves, very different to the dunderheads that we are used to talking to on a daily basis, that we are struggling, you know, to get our points across to, you know, hey guys, it's tiring. It's really tiring. You know what I wanted to bring to your guys' attention, and I'm sure you guys read it, that Nigeria is being put on the CPC list by the US for the most, for 90% of the world's killings of Christians. And most of those Christians that they are killing, it's Biafran people.
so I don't know.
And they've been talking about it for years. It's only now that we are actually now seeing it coming out. And, you know, like everything that the Biafrans have been saying, it's now being proven slowly but surely.
No, host, if you can put me on the big screen. The thing is, when people are saying this is not to mock, and with people who have sensible thinking like these guys, it means they want progress. You know, when you are humbled, that is when you are able to work with other people. So when you've got people like Davido coming out and also speaking out things, he gets attacked. And the thing is that, you know, it's easy to grow with somebody who's willing to listen to their weakness. If I come to you and say you lack 1, 2, 3, then it's easy for me to fix those things. But every time you try to defend yourself where it's not even necessary, there's a point in life where you have to defend yourself, but where it's not necessary, let not your words defend you, let your works speak for you. Can I, as an average South African, come to your country and have the same benefits as you always speak of, or I'll have to be in a certain level of position to get those benefits? So, like, for me, I really don't understand this kind of thinking. People, where will it take them as a unit? So if majority, they can just give this gentleman from Biafra a chance. Let's see what will happen. But I understand some people like when other people are oppressed because they know they've got the strength to better themselves. They like coming to other people and showing off their riches. They don't like a group of people to grow. So I understand people have still that mentality. That is why maybe I'm saying, as a community, are you growing or going backwards? And why are you not fighting to change yourself? And when people are talking and you need to change, why aren't you humbling yourself? What is the arrogance about? What is the result of your arrogance for the last 10 years?
But that's exactly it. The thing about arrogant people is that they never want to accept, firstly, that they are wrong. Secondly, what I do not get with most Nigerians, not all, I'm beginning to see a shift in the mentality of certain Nigerians where they are willing to accept that people are damaging other countries. Now that is something I can respect, but when a Nigerian is going to defend the wrongs of the people by claiming that it is the South Africans that are to be blamed because they have a habit of using powders, that is something I cannot accept, nor will I ever be able to accept. How do you blame the victim for the narcissist being the perpetrator? Do you understand what I'm saying? For me, it makes no sense. How do you defend the wrongs of your people when you know your people are out there poisoning everyone else, and then you want to say my African brother? How are we supposed to be African brothers when you are giving me poison?
And I saw that there was this lady who also from Nigeria was trying to speak about the problems in Nigeria. I heard that they gave a backlash. In 2 days she was forced to apologize for speaking herself and expressing what she's experiencing. So I'm like, what kind of a society they want us to believe in? When we call something out, then you must be attacked. The world where there's no truth, we must not speak the truth because you are afraid. Since you are majority, you're gonna attack. That's
Aftermath, do you know that Davido was also attacked for just speaking out? Do you know how these guys, they attack Davido too? This is how they are. They like to hide they like to hide everything. Just come on social media, flaunt. They pretend to be rich. They are never rich. Just always, everything about most of them is always to pretend. You understand? You see that copper, she came out to speak on a pressing issue, important issue that is affecting the country. But you see these guys in the comment section attacking her for speaking out, and these guys are also dying of hunger. But when you speak out, they attack you. You see the mentality that we are all dealing, that most of us will say we don't want to be together with these people. I don't know if their brains are being fried or what. I don't just understand what is wrong with them. And, why we have to share the same country with these kind of people that have this mentality. When the leaders are going wrong, you cannot criticize the leader. Instead of the leaders to come at you, is this nuisance coming at you, who's saying, why do you say that against the leaders? You see, this is what we are dealing with. When they elect all these corrupt leaders, even the Tinubu that is the drug baron that actually have a case in USA, they elected him. They will run away from the problem that they have created, and they will go to other person's country. You see, this is what we are facing. Yeah, and now when they are committing those crimes and the people that are in their country are clapping back at them, instead of them to be remorseful, they will not be remorseful about that and try a way to fix that. You see, the next leader Nigeria is going to elect again is going to be worse than Tinubu. This is how their mentality is. Yeah, so how are you going to talk to this kind of people that have this mentality? Yeah. I just feel like half of they should just divide Nigeria, put half of them in psychiatric hospital, because most of them need their brain checked because they are not reasoning right like human being. Yeah, and other few have, they should put them in zoo. They should put them in zoo because those kind of mentality are supposed to be with animals. Yeah, because I don't just understand why we'll be living with people that can never take accountability. Instead of taking accountability, they will blame other people for their problem. Yeah, so this is why most of us, we don't want to be part of them.
But my brother, Squash, I have a question for you now. Who has damaged the identity of the Nigerian passport?
The people that damage the identity of Nigerian passport are Nigerians themselves.
Oh, thank you. Oh, honestly.
Nigerians themselves. Yeah, but you see some particular people that will come on platform, instead of them to take accountability, they will say, oh, it's Yoruba, oh, it's Igbo, oh, it's this part of Nigeria. But it's all Nigeria that is doing those things. Yeah, it's all Nigeria, but they would like to shift the goalposts, so they won't take accountability. They would like to blame, do the blame games. Yeah, and it's not working because the people that you are trying to talk to, they are wise, they are educated, and they can fact check all the lies that you are lying to them. So it doesn't make sense. Yeah, other they are fooling themselves up and down.
Squash, we've had some Kenyan people. I'm sorry, did somebody else want to go?
Yeah, I can hear also is trying to say something, but also we cannot hear you. You are very, very soft.
Am I still low now?
Okay, no, you better. Much better. We can hear you.
No, my person. You don't sound like
okay. What is the topic today?
the topic changes. The topic changes between what the women that are fighting and standing up to the president for the food prices in Nigeria, while most of the Nigerian men are not in their country, they're outside selling powder. You will find that the very same people that are asking Nigeria to hold their government accountable has been the Biafrans all this time, but they have refused to take that advice from the Biafrans, always insulting the Biafrans. But today, here we are sitting with Nigerians. Nigerians are struggling to survive day to day. They on a forced OMAD diet, 1 meal a day diet, because they have not, for all these years, they have failed to stand up to their government. And then we are also talking about the Fulani heads and the Fulanis and the houses, the Fulani headsmen that have unalived 90% of Christians worldwide. If you looked at the stats that was released by the US in this week, it was said, and they're actually wanting to put Nigeria, or they put Nigeria on the CPC list for 90% of the world's killings of Christians. So those are the topics. We are just talking in between those, so you can jump on wherever you feel you want to add.
Okay, that is fine. No, Nigerian issue is very is tiring, because as a kid, all of us started lamenting. Up till now, I'm getting up to, I'm from a kidhood. I started the same crying, the same lamenting. Up till now, no changes. I think I'm tired of Nigeria. I swear, nothing works out there. You know, all this tribalism, nepotism, corruption. No, it is very much in Nigeria. So I don't think I don't even have any solution to that a country. For me, I prefer let it divide, so that everybody will go to his own direction and try to fix himself up. I don't have any comment again about the country, because the country has failed. It has failed everybody. It's only the corrupt guys in politics. They are the one who is enjoying, them and the families, and the masses cannot unite and do the right thing. So we the Igbo have played our own part in trying to fix the countries. If other tribes can be like us, by now the country would have been better. But unfortunately, they be against us. Each time when we call for evolution, they will unite all and then turn against us. So it is tiring for me. So I don't have anything again to say about the country.
Ozoigwe, I don't know. Ozoigwe.
Yeah, Ozoigwe.
I just want to know. I want to understand something. Why is it that the Muslims in Nigeria are busy unaliving the Christians in Nigeria, but in South Africa it's a very different story? Because if you look at what happens here, whenever there's a crisis, I don't know if you've heard of Gift of the Givers. I don't know if you've heard of Islamic Relief, Africa Muslims Agency. The list is endless. Whenever there is a crisis in Africa, you find the Muslims going out to go and try and save lives. So why is there such a big difference between the Muslims in Nigeria and the Muslims in South Africa? Maybe the food we're producing is of a different quality or something? Because we act very differently. We go all out to save lives. The Nigerian Muslims are doing the opposite. What is going on?
And they sorry Ozo, sorry my brother. And it's not to say that they only go out saving Muslims. They go out, religion isn't a factor for them. They go and they feed Christian families. They feed everybody. Indian families, everybody, Hindus, whatever, sorry. So I don't understand why Nigerian Muslims behave the way they behave. Why are the Fulani so entitled?
Do you know those in Nigeria? No, these guys that call themselves the Fulanis, they have an agenda. Those guys are not pure Muslims, but they hide under the region to carry out their own agenda of invasion and conquest. Those guys are never real Muslim. There can be anything, but they hide under the Islam to carry out their ethnic cleansings and conquest. You know, those guys are like nomads. They don't have land, so they are trying to use this ill structure of Nigeria to acquire land. But we are insisting them. Only in the north they have managed to convince the northerners. But in the east we have insisted and push them back. But please, can I ask a question? Is there Muslims in South Africa or only Christians or anything else?
No, South Africa is very, very multi-religious. We are multi-religious because we've got Christians, we've got Muslims, we've got Hindus, we've got Jewish people, we've got every different type of people you can find. In fact,
Also,
even during the whole conflict in Gaza, I found myself standing next to a Jewish man that was praying for his family in hospital, and I was in hospital at the same time. And I stood and I prayed with him.
Also, Mr. Mzansi next to you is Muslim as well, and the Muslims in South Africa, they are a very, very big community, but they are the kindest people that you'll find. They are not. They don't go around abusing people and doing the things that the Fulanis and the houses are doing in your country. And you know, my brother, Mr. Mzansi, and I were talking about this. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and he actually said, which is what you're confirming now. He's saying that these people are not Muslim. And you are confirming that because the Muslims that we know here in South Africa are a different breed of Muslims altogether. We do not understand the violence that Muslims are causing on that side of the world, which means that they are not really Muslims. They are hiding behind the Islamic banner.
Yes, definitely. Those guys are not Muslim. They don't believe in anything, but they will hide and pretend. Listen now, okay, are you aware that Nigeria is a home to the 3 biggest African tribes, which are Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba? These are like Germany, France, and England. All of these countries in one country. And the leaders are the Fulani headsmen, those who couldn't lead cow properly. They lead their cows to farmland. They are the leaders of Nigeria. They are the leaders of biggest tribes in Africa, and I expect the country to go forward. No, we have to do something. The country have to divide first, then we can come together and make appointment or make agreement. Yes,
that's true.
Mr. Ozoigwe,
let me say something, guys. For the question that you asked, Ozigwe, the thing is that Nigeria has a lot of problem. It wasn't like this before the arrival of the Fulanis, but it got worse when the Fulanis arrived in Nigeria. With this, when the Usman Danfodo tried to, started his conquest through Islam. Yeah, a lot of people, he knows that he cannot carry out his conquest without putting it under Islam, right? But so he started, because he was the one that spread Islam to the Hausa people, and all of them bought the idea that Nigeria should be all Islamic country. And as we are speaking, they have achieved like 70% of that ideology, like that idea. They have achieved like 70%. Yeah, because Nigeria is, I would say Nigeria is an Islamic country, but we have so many Christians in Nigeria, but it is fact Nigeria is an Islamic country. Northerners have Sharia law. Part of Nigeria practice completely Sharia law, and what they are trying to do, why you see them unaliving Christians in Nigeria, is that they want the Sharia law to go all over Nigeria. But meanwhile, the Fulanis are also carrying out their own conquest too. Why they are also using religion? They are using those people. They are religious fanatics. Yeah, so they are using them too, but they have their other intention to also take all the lands that belong to the indigenous people, because Fulani are very trickish. So they are using all those Muslims, those people that like that will do anything for religion more than they can even unalive their father because of religion. So they are playing on their minds, and this is why they are unaliving all the Christians in Nigeria. So this is what the Fulanis are doing.
Squash,
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, do you know what Sharia law states? A man that is going to go and kidnap a woman to force her into becoming his wife should be stoned until he is unalive. That is what Sharia law says.
But this is not the mentality. That is a mentality. But you have to check the mentality of Nigerian Muslim. It's not the same with you. Their mentality is totally different. Yeah, it's totally different. If you listen to a Nigerian Muslim, you see that you probably what you practice in your country is different from what they are practicing. But they are using it as Islam. I don't know, because what we see them, they are very. You know, there's a girl that is called Deborah. Maybe you can make research. These guys unalive Deborah because they say that she talked bad about Prophet Muhammad. They burned this lady to death. Deborah is not the first person. They have done that a lot. So it's something that is going on in Nigeria. So we the Christians in Nigeria, we don't know the kind of Muslim Islam that these guys practice. So if it's different from the one you guys practice in South Africa, we don't know. But they will unalive you when you say something that is a bit bad against their prophet. Is that how it's supposed to be? No.
Let me ask you a question. How do you think you get to heaven? Do you think you get to heaven by unaliving people or by saving their lives?
Yeah, that's what the Nigerian Muslim believe. They
Right,
believe
so
that when you unalive,
Islam do you think we practice in South Africa? Like I said to you, we've got multiple. There are many South African charity organizations that basically survive off not what government gives them, but they're surviving off what the South African people donate to them, and they use these funds to try and develop the rest of Africa, to put in well throughout Africa. There's just
that is how it's supposed to be.
But that is what Islam is. Islam is a nation that is supposed to be something where you are supposed to go out and show the beauty of Islam. You're not supposed to portray Islam as this vicious cult. It's not supposed to be that. That is not what Islam is all about. I personally work with different organizations, and every time there's a disaster that happens in South Africa and we are called, we are there to help. And every time we go out and we go and see exactly who is there, who do you think is there most of the time? It's mainly the Muslim organizations that are there to help. That is what Islam is. Not what they're doing in the northern part of Nigeria. You know what? You want to know the truth? There's so many South African Muslims that don't want to say it, but I'm very vocal about it. And they don't. The truth is, there are many South African Muslims that cannot stand what Boko Haram stands for. They cannot stand what ISIS stands for.
And this is where we question. That is where most of we Nigerian Christian question, because with these guys, the way they practice their religion is making us to, all of us to believe that all of you guys are the same, because what Boko Haram stand for is what an average Muslim in Nigeria stand for. Yeah. That's what they stand for, because any little provocation, they will unalive Christians. They burn Deborah to death. They burn a lot of people to death because they believe that they committed they committed something against their prophet. Yeah.
Let's allow
what other religion these guys are practicing.
Okay, thank you, Squash. I'll allow you to come in again, brother. Let's allow NM to come in. Hey, sister, how are you, Queen?
Hi, I'm all right, thanks, and you?
I'm good.
I requested when you guys talking about the difference between Nigerian Muslims and the Muslims that we have here. We can make the same argument about Nigerian Christians in general, because the type of the pastors, the churches that we see mushrooming and popping everywhere in South Africa. You ask a question to say, are these really Christians? I think the mind of Nigerians in general needs to be studied. Not only do they do these horrible things as Muslims in Nigeria, they're exporting their fake pastors. They're exporting. Look at the case of Omotoso. You know, how many fake pastors who are in these countries and using Christianity as a front. And I think if you go back and check that South Africa in landmass, we've got a huge country versus Nigeria, and I'm pretty sure that Nigerians must be over 500 million people in there. So it's literally the mentality of these people. It's they on a survival mode. Everything about them is survival. They were brought up in such harsh conditions that they can't think straight. There was another TikToker here, a Nigerian TikToker, who came into South Africa, and the first thing she said, you know, one of the culture shock is that South Africa stands in line. When we go somewhere, we stand in line and we wait our turn. Now, how do you compare somebody who comes from a country where they don't know how to stand in line? They live their whole life is chaos. Take a child that has been brought up in that survival mode in a chaotic environment and bring them in a place that has law and order. How is that child going to survive? Firstly, they're going to create chaos because it is the only thing that they know how to do. The host country that is used to order, you're going to be confused. You're going to be in a state of I don't want to say analysis paralysis, because it is a shock to your system. And the very same person who's chaotic then stands and points at you and say, you are lazy, you are this, because you cannot operate in a chaotic environment. Think of yourself. Let's make an example. You go into a house and this house is chaotic. It is filthy. It's everything everywhere. How would you function? Nigerians know how to navigate. They will jump over dirty dishes. They will know how to navigate. No normal person can operate in an environment that the Nigerians are brought under. That's why you find these people everywhere. I'm sure even in El Salvador, you will find a Nigerian. But it's not all people who are flocking to Nigerian and they're able to function. So I'd like to say, it is very difficult to try and dissect the Nigerian mind, because they will literally confuse you to a point where you start now questioning yourself if you are really thinking straight or what. They will sit here and say, yeah, it is the Muslim Nigerians. If you come into, no, it's not Nigerian, it's the Fulani, it's the Igbos, it's this. They can never own up to anything. As much as we're talking about the Muslims in Nigeria, the Christians, the Nigerian Christians that we see in South Africa, they're doing the same thing. They just pushing money. They worship money. They worship power. I will just land here, but I'll stay on the panel. I've got more to comment.
And if you remember, I think about maybe 20-25 years ago, there was a Nigerian guy that wrote a book, The Capitalist N-Word. And he spoke about how this is going to become a disease, so to speak, within Africa, where we are going to start worshipping money more than we value the next human life. And you know what? I don't think that he was wrong.
I bought the hard copy and I have a soft copy for my 15-year-old daughter to read. It's a hard read, but I'd want everybody to read the capitalist.
You know what actually scares me? You know what scares me is that you must remember when people travel, they travel with certain cultures, and at the end of the day, we've got to understand that the whole idea of the capitalistic N-word goes against everything that we know to be South African culture, and by that I mean Ubuntu. By that I mean the saying Umuntu ngemuntu abantu. For the Nigerians here, it means people are people through people. People are not people through money. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When people become people through money, it seems to just deflate the value of the next human being. So let us not deflate the value of the next human being. I think if Africa had to adopt these values that were born in South Africa, the whole of Africa would be great. We would not be saying, let's make Africa great. Africa would be great.
Exactly. But that's what Nigeria thrives on. If you go to Nigeria today, you will see how they look down on the people that have less than them. If you go to Nigeria today and Davido or an influencer walks into a shop, do you know that they worship them, that shop will be closed? It will be closed specifically for that influencer. In Nigeria, it doesn't matter how you make money. The minute you have money, you are worshipped. And they are exporting that to the rest of the world, and now that target is in South Africa. Nigerians would come here and tell you that in Nigeria we do this with the giant, I'm a Nigerian man, but Nigerian will do anything to become a Makoti here. The minute he has the papers, watch how they treat their women. The very same women that gave them citizenship and children, they will not even think twice for packing up, using the South African document to go to Canada, England, to go to Europe, and leaving this woman with children. Now we must stay here and be uncles and aunties to flatheads whose father has been insulting us for as long as he was here, including the Jolofinas. Now when this man, because they don't think, for them it's a survival instinct. It doesn't matter what they do. They're thinking of them because they know when they go back to Nigeria in December or whenever, they've got a little bit of money and they're not carrying the Nigerian passport. They get worshipped.
And if I may ask, what is the meaning of Tabo?
Of Tabo?
Yeah.
Tabo, isn't it happiness?
Right. Now from the comment that Tabo left earlier on saying that you are an ex-dumped Jolofina,
Tabo is
live up to that name? You know what
Tabo is a Nigerian guy, brother.
Exactly, but that's why my question came into play.